We got this question here from Stephen Heim. Hiya, gents! Exclamation point. I feel like Alex, as I can't believe I'm about to talk about the Switch 2. I'm not
Oh
exactly.
no.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm not exactly part of that targeted audience, but I've got a question. I recently found out that Nintendo has restricted most third-party docks on the Switch 2 by making changes to the USB-C standard, making most unofficial docks incompatible now, which forces users and parents to buy Nintendo's expensive official dock at an eye-watering 120 freedom dollars.
Oh
Is
boy.
this anti-competitive or monopolistic behavior, or just business as usual for Nintendo? No lawsuits have been filed so far from what I could see, and for all I know, this is completely legal. What are your thoughts on it as gamers and as tech reviewers? Thank you all for everything you do. We kind of alluded this in a question last week where there was talk of a proprietary protocol or even an encryption chip on the Switch 2 dock. And I think it is just a change of the protocol because it turns out that a lot of people have now found out how it has been changed and are making firmware updates to their docks, which should basically, in theory, solve the issue. And I say in theory because I notice on the Switch 2 system update menu, it checks, you've got to check there to see if the firmware in your dock has been updated. So I think, if Nintendo is saying that actually we only want people to buy our own dock, there's no reason why they couldn't change that protocol again. But that kind of leads me on to this device, which is kind of available on Amazon at
Oh,
the moment. It is the Siriku Switch 2 dock, and I was sent this by the makers of it. There's two versions of it. This one is the USB version, which lacks a LAN socket there, but there is a version with a LAN socket. Get the one with the LAN socket. Anyway, it's very, very cheap. It's not 120 of your American freedom dollars. I'm looking at Amazon right now, and it's £27.99. And it's got a 10% coupon applied. And I have tested it, and I am using this right now instead of the official dock. And it works. It just works. There were earlier reports that it didn't work particularly well. That there was some sort of button on the back that you had to press to get it to work. That button seems to be just to stop it acting as a dock and just as a USB charger, which is quite, an interesting thing. But it does actually work, is all I can say at the moment. The only thing I find slightly odd is that it's kind of a bit difficult to judge exactly where you should be docking it as such. It's quite clear on the actual official Switch 2 dock where, how it slots in. But with this, you've got no sort of visual guides on how the Switch 2 sort of plugs into it. But it does actually work. But John, what do you think about this whole concept of changing an established protocol and making a whole bunch of docks and USB-C adapters not working?
I mean, aren't we're just existing docks would have been designed for Switch One, right? So like,
Well, it's a protocol. I mean, Steam Deck works on it as well on these docks.
right. So I mean, I don't really see an issue with it. I mean, it's their new system. It's like their prerogative to do whatever they want with that kind of stuff, right? As is always the case. I mean, when a new piece of hardware comes out, third parties have to meet whatever requirements that console manufacturer has set, right? So I don't feel like the dock is any different than any other part of the system chain, where it's like, here's the new product. If you want to make products for our product, go for it. But you've got to meet what we've set as whatever the standard is. And
Right.
I
I
really
think
feel like
that's
it's
just
that
basically
simple.
the pushback that perfectly acceptable docks that do support 4K 120 don't work on it.
I mean, I understand the frustration there for sure. It's not really Nintendo's place to worry about that, though, is what I'm saying. I think they'd prefer you just use the official dock anyway.
Right. Yes.
And I feel like in most cases, I guess, I mean, multiple docks, I guess there's an argument for it, but yeah, I mean, it sounds
I
like
think,
this problem will be solved anyway, right?
it
With,
has been solved.
right.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I don't know. I guess if you're stuck with a dock that should be capable of this and it doesn't get updated, there's a frustration factor there for sure. But at the same time, things that existed before the Switch 2, I don't really think it's up to Nintendo to always support all this various hardware.
I think the issue only really kicks in if they actually do update the firmware of their own dock, and then suddenly all the ones that have adapted to the new system
That would be a problem.
suddenly don't work.
I agree with that. That would actually be indeed a problem.
Right. Okay. I hesitate to ask, Alex, because you do have very little interest in the Nintendo Switch 2.
I mean, it's a console in the aspect of you cannot, as much as we would love to say like Microsoft style, oh, you should support everything. They don't have to. That's the whole point of a console. So,
yeah.
I mean, I kind of get both perspectives here, but it's also you buy this thing and you understand that it's only proprietary, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I mean, this dock does have uses. It's significantly lighter. Also, it's not sort of covering up the system. It's I've found that my Switch actually gets rather hot in the
I was going to
official dock.
say that, Rich. I notice even when not using the Switch 2, whenever I pull it out of the dock after it's been asleep, it's very warm.
Yep,
In a way that's concerning, right? I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, this one doesn't have any sort of fans on it, but arguably it doesn't need it. But that said, there seems to be a misconception that the official dock is actually cooling the system when it's not. It's just cooling the internals of the Switch 2 dock. So this thing doesn't have a fan, but I don't think it actually needs it. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is the thing, right? This is the thing that's holding me back. I've been using this Siwiku dock, and it's been working perfectly fine. But it didn't to begin with. And who knows whether it's still going to continue to work and what happens then. I guess they have to issue a firmware update. But, the average Switch 2 user,
Well,
it's not really...
I guess...
Are they going to know how to update the firmware on a third-party dock?
We've just inadvertently created a new dedicated section in DF Direct Weekly. Every week we'll check in on your dock.
Or maybe every system software update. I did notice that there was a system software update this week when I was doing the Hitman and assets there. And I thought, okay, right, here we go. Is it still going to work? But it did. So it hasn't been changed.
Report 1
yet.
confirmed.
Yes.